Hi guys, I'm going to do a quick video to explain how to find the answer to the triad from lesson 7.3, which is finding the area of kites and trapezoids by decomposing or breaking apart those shapes into more familiar shapes such as triangles or parallelograms. And remember, parallelograms are squares or rectangles, rhombuses, or these shapes right here. Note that is not perfect, but hopefully that helps you remember what exactly it is we're talking about when we say parallelograms. So the question asks us, how would we decompose this trapezoid to find its area? And then it says, find the area. So it wants us to decompose or break it apart into familiar shapes. And it's actually already provided us with all the information we need because it's provided this dotted line right here. And that dotted line is just showing us that this right here would be equivalent to this base here. But it also lets us see that we can easily divide it into a triangle and into a rectangle. And then we want to find the area of both shapes. So we're going to find the area here, and we're going to find the area here, and then we're going to add them together. So let's start with the easier one, which I think is the area of the rectangle, and I'm going to label it here, rectangle. And I'm writing directly onto my laptop, so it might be a little messy, but I'll try to be as neat as possible. And the area formula for a rectangle is A equals base times height. So we need to know the base and the height. And earlier we mentioned that this right here is the base. Notice it's the bottom of the rectangle, at least when it's pointed in this particular direction. So the base is going to be 5. So I'm going to say area equals 5. Now I need to figure out my height. We have two numbers. We have this number here and this number here. But we want just the height of the rectangle. So notice the rectangle, this is its height here, and this is its height over here. So this 11 and 25 hundredths feet refers to this whole distance from the top of this tip of this vertex of this triangle all the way to the base of the rectangle. We just want the height of the rectangle, which is 6 and 25 hundredths feet. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply that here. And once we multiply that, that will give us our answer to the area of the rectangle. And since we're not focusing on your multiplication skills at the moment, I'm just going to go ahead and write that answer out, which would be 31 and 25 hundredths. And we have to remember to put our units. We want to be precise. Since it is area, it is feet squared because it is two-dimensional. But that is just the area of the rectangle. We are not done yet. Now we want to find the area of the triangle, and we want to remember triangles are always half of a parallelogram. So their formula is area equals 1/2 base times height. Remember, multiplying by that half, taking half of something, is the same as dividing something into two equal parts. But we want to find the base and the height. Can't do anything until we have found that. Now, if you'll recall, we said the base of this triangle here is going to be the same as the base of this particular rectangle because the base of the triangle is, in fact, the top of the rectangle. They are the same line. So we know that the base here is 5 feet. So area is going to equal 1/2 times 5. Now we need to figure out the height. And I think this is where a lot of people have the most trouble. So the height of this triangle is just talking about this little distance right here. We know that that's not going to be this 11 and 25 hundredths feet because that refers to the whole height of the shape. We are given this 6 and 25 hundredths feet, but that actually refers to just this right here, this height. So if we know that the whole height is 11 and 25 hundredths, and we've already used up this height here, the height of the rectangle, we can say 11 and 25 hundredths minus 6 and 25 hundredths will give us the height of the triangle. So 11 and 25 hundredths minus 6 and 25 hundredths is going to give us 5. So 5 feet is the height of the triangle. So we have 1/2 times base, which is 5, times the height, which is 5. And if we do that, we can say 5 times 5 is 25, and half of 25 is 12 and a half. And it is 12 and a half feet squared. But we are not done yet because we found the area of the triangle and the area of the rectangle, but we want the area of the whole shape. So in order to find the area of the whole shape, we have to add together those two areas. So I'm adding together 31 and 25 hundredths and 12 and 5 hundredths. And make sure you're checking my math here for me, but I believe that is going to be 43 and 75 hundredths feet squared. All right, so that is how we find the area of the trapezoid. The convince me, I think a lot of people were confused about the wording. The convince me is how is finding the area of this trapezoid here different from finding the area of the trapezoid in example 1. Well, this trapezoid here, we already knew we had to find the area of this rectangle and the area of this triangle. So let's go ahead and look at the trapezoid in example 1. Here's the trapezoid from example 1, and the only difference we can see here is we had to break it into 3 different shapes. It is made up of one parallelogram, or rectangle in this particular case, and 2 triangles, one on each side. And that is how this example is different from the one in your triad. So I hope this video helped you better understand the triad. If you want to go back, you can go back and rewind, pause it, see if some parts make sense. And as always, if you have questions, go ahead and email me and I will answer as soon as I'm able.